Hi, everyone. This is Paddy doing an intro. CJ does these normally, but I'm doing them today because I'm made of secrets. I'm Paddy. Hello. Welcome to whichever show this is. CJ, how are you?
Mystified, but I have coffee. The fact that you've done planning means that I'm probably asleep, and this is the identifier. I'm just like, I've had a day off, and I've done this, and I've done that, and the landlord tries to fit a window, but he got the wrong size, and it's fine. And then just like, Paddy's like, I've done some planning. I'm like, fine, I'm asleep.
I don't understand. I'll pinch you after the show, just to be safe. Okay, so I have done planning. It's like long-term planning as well, more than you would think, because I have something I need to pitch at you. Because we know we've been doing things differently this year, a little bit.
We have indeed.
Chase the weird, and I sort of had this idea of something I wanted to do, and I've been working on it for a couple of days. How I wanted to do it, and I think this is probably the best way of doing it. Okay.
Judging by my reaction as to whether this goes out or not.
Yeah, I think it will. I'm pretty sure it will. So our schedules are like pretty crap, right?
They can be a bit wonky, most of which is my fault.
Yeah, we have hard times meeting up to talk sometimes, which is why we don't podcast as much as most do, and probably why we don't have a Patreon, because we wouldn't be able to put anything up.
Yeah, but I think the other side of it is that hopefully when we do release an episode, people aren't kind of clogged up with a backlog, or if their own lives get a little bit wonky, that we've put out an episode and it's a little bit special, that we've got something there that because we've never ever wanted to put out a poor show, and I think that's another one of the reasons why we've always waited for schedules to align a little bit, because you've got to not have a fog in your head, and you've got to have a decent amount of energy to be able to enthuse about stuff. And we do like talking about the things that we love, as opposed to bitching.
Yeah, we're a positive show. Well, I'm gonna have to sadly let you all down and say that the schedule's gonna get a bit worse soon, because
I'm pregnant.
Wow, your voice changed.
I know.
What's that going to happen in the house?
Laura's been sitting here quietly waiting for you to shut up.
Hi, Laura.
Hey.
Congratulations, my lovely.
Yeah, I suppose.
Have you verified whether it's human yet?
Well, first midwife is on Friday, but
and hopefully they'll like verify that it is a human child and not some sort of homunculus.
Or that it's some sort of ginger fire. She finds out it's ginger. It's just like, it's all over now. Or it comes out, instead of crying, it goes like, ora, ora, ora.
Please don't make this any worse than it already is.
I'm sorry.
She's already nixed several JoJo names.
Yes. No JoJo names.
Well, Jonathan, Joseph, no. Giorno, no. Jotaro, no.
Speedwagon?
No. I've already suggested
Speedwagon is the best name for a child, but it comes back to that Friends gag of like the argument over who was going to call their child the Hulk.
You will be pleased to know that I have already suggested and had nixed the name Speedwagon.
It's a phenomenal name.
It's just well, I've already tried to think. Could we do Robert, Edward, Oscar? Because that's REO, and that's close, but Laura twigged what I was going for.
I just wonder if a child was named Speedwagon, as to whether they'd not only have it abbreviated, but they'd have it abbreviated to normality. So it would be like Speeve.
This is my son's baggin.
Like Steve with a P.
This was the only reason I got you on.
So you haven't done planning at all?
I've done no planning. It was a man made of lies.
You put your lies inside your wife.
Secrets and lies. Well, we've been...
Well, that's the point where Laura laughs. She goes like, yes, that's why I understand CJ. That's why we get on.
Well, we've known for about 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
It was the first day of my week off, and it turns out seeing on news like this is hell. It's utter hell. It's the worst. We wanted to wait until we told the parents before we told people. And, we wanted to tell you among the first people we would tell.
It's very kind, thank you.
I thought it would make for a fun podcast bit. Whether we put this out on its own or it's part of the strunt of another show. We'll see. We haven't made it public yet, so this is currently recording on a Monday, but who knows when it's going to go out.
Who knows?
So, Laura, how are you feeling about the whole thing?
Vomity.
You see, that's because he's
vomity and tired.
And that's not just that's not just because
isn't that the name of the 3-person boy band you were in, Paddy?
So, Laura, I'd like you to list off some of the things you can't have or do.
I can't have really hot baths. I can't have alcohol. I can't do sit-ups. I can't have pate.
Oily fish?
I can't have oily fish. I can't have offal.
Can you not retrieve diamonds from irradiated areas anymore?
No, that's probably a bad idea as well.
Bad too. Oily fish.
Oily fish. There's
Beechams.
lists. Oh, I can't take any medicine at all except for paracetamol, no matter how much I'm dying.
So basically, what we're saying is Laura can't Laura.
Okay. You've managed to break her.
If there was a summoning circle,
as strong as she's been living with you anyway, you've managed to find a way.
I did it. It only took 15 years.
Yeah.
In the summoning circle that would summon Laura, like hot baths and wine are two of the large components. I think sleep is the only one left that you're allowed.
Man.
I'm allowed chocolate, but I really shouldn't be having as much as I'm having. Because,
You can find alternates, because I know when I went on because I haven't seen you guys for a few years, but I am both much more slender than when you last saw me and much more buff. One of the things that I did when I was getting rid of like chocolate, crisps, all of that sort of stuff was, liking something munchy to sit down and watch telly or watch a movie or whatever, was yogurt peanuts. Just because,
peanuts.
Yeah, I'd stick them in the freezer. People think that they just turn into ice cubes, but they just go super cold. But yeah, it's something sort of sweet and munchy. And
no, that sounds nice, because I sometimes get strawberry bits covered in yogurt, and those are always nice.
Proper. I mean, they sell them at Iceland in like little bags for a pound and stuff. But they're I'd just get loads in and just stuff the fridge with them, because the worst thing is when you've got a craving for something. And you're like, I shouldn't have that. But it just kind of filled that little niche and stuff. So that would be my recommendation, to get beyond chocolate, because they're really nice.
I'll have to look into that.
Yogurt peanuts.
Yes.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
You wouldn't eat them because you don't like peanuts.
No, there's no way I'm going to steal those.
That makes it even better.
I'll put them all over the house.
Just like wake him up like covered in them. Are you coming out with the rash, ginger boy?
You'll hide them in my lunch. Like, I'm going to have some... Oh, this isn't ham.
Yeah, I'm leaving the house now. I will raise your child to resent you.
Well, unfortunately, word from both sets of parents is twins travels in the families.
Oh, man.
And my family is ginger. He's obviously ginger. So chances are...
They're both going to come out with beards.
Twins.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're having Harry Potter twins.
Wow.
You're going to be dyslexic as well.
Dyslexic who can't see good with my eyes.
And none of them plans anything.
No planning. Maybe this will be...
plan stuff.
Laura plans everything.
Oh my, there we go. Now I see the universal balance.
Doesn't do anything, because normally Laura does it for him.
Yeah.
You're the CJ of your own house. And I am the Laura of this podcast. And we had other Laura on. 2 Lauras make a... chef's convention? I don't know.
I'm so happy that I'm the Paddy of both of these relationships.
Yeah, I'm glad there's no shame in that, is there, Paddy? There's no shame involved.
I'm consistent.
So, Laura, yogurt peanuts.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my whole idea that I was trying to sell you on when I was like, hey, we should do a podcast about Outward again. And you're like, I haven't got enough yet. I'm like, shit, what do I say? I've got a secret idea.
You see, all today I'm just thinking like he's written something down. What is this? And I actually thought he's working on a story or something. He wants my input, or he wants a bit of advice on it and stuff. But no, Laura's doing the work.
I was involved briefly.
Christ, I pulled bits onto my computer with like the little sort of weapon wheel of story writing formulas, and that's genuinely the thought that I was doing. But no, that story belongs to Laura.
We are writing a book, the book of life. The look she has given me.
On the plus point, we'll take suggestions for baby names. Not stupid suggestions though, but suggestions.
Speedwagon's a great name.
It doesn't even have to be a name. The baby could come out and like you're like, what's the father doing? He just puts an eye patch on it.
No.
Oh, Laura's eyes are saying no, just over and over. No.
That means your eyes kind of went into the back of your head and going like, where do you get baby eye patches from?
Stand.
Yeah. Well, like, how does the naming work? Like, is it just whoever says it first? Like, I said, Speedwagon! And that's it. I win.
No, because I have to sign the paperwork off numbers.
I'll forge it.
I genuinely thought you were going to say Shazam there for a minute. And I was like, that works as a girl's and a boy's name because of Marvel Family.
Ooh.
No,
again, just so many.
A normal
literally
name.
Walking down the
road,
road,
child.
looking at place names, going, Buckingham, that's a nice name.
I've had it for 3 weeks now.
Would you be looking at modern day names, or would you go to kind of an old school name?
Well, my Google history at the minute is unusual, but not weird, baby names.
No, you see, it's a good job I didn't go onto the Twin Humanities account and just think like, he's been hacked by Mumsnet. I mean, it was going to happen, but...
So yeah,
because
if you've got any good names, let me know, because like all mine have been rejected. So,
because the strange thing, I think a lot of it is, I mean, it's hard to tell with the child anyway, but I think a lot of really, really old names are coming to the fore now. I remember when I was a kid, and I said to my mum like, "Why didn't you call me Charles?" And she was like, "What do you mean?" And I said like, "Well, my actual name, it doesn't sound like it would be an old man name for when I'm old. But if you call me Charles, they could call me Charlie."
Was your old man Coffee Jesus?
That's it. Yeah, sitting on a mountain.
It's not old man Coffee Jesus. It's Uncle Coffee now.
Yeah, well, I do play the role of.
He does do that.
I know.
Uncle to my friend's little boy, and I've seemingly taught him sarcasm already, and it's like so that's really the first step to learn. So yeah, that's an interesting one. No, but with regards to like old school names and stuff, there was this girl that used to come into the old store that I was at. And I presume I think her family was French anyway, but like really elegant lass and stuff. But her name was Maud, and I was like, I've not really seen that name on a young person before, and yet it really suited her, and it seemed sort of different because nobody used that anymore.
Well, like we're thinking, like old school, like they sound better, but also like 2 or 3 syllables because they've got to deal with Smith.
It doesn't really need to. I'm nicking from Dillamore now. It doesn't even need to be a name. It can be like, oi!
Probably is what is going to be called more often than not.
Shitface.
Was it more instead like, was it? Because I think he was on about the subject of somebody during sex saying somebody else's name. And he says like, it doesn't even have to be somebody else's name. It could be your name said with a different inflection. Like, John? John!
John?
Yeah. That made me
cool.
laugh.
Well, that's all we've got for today's show.
I'm now thinking of that Dillamore and stuff where he's talking about relationships, and he was like, when you first meet somebody, you're like, what kind of books do you like? What kind of movies do you love? Oh my God, you're amazing. It's just, you get to the point where it's just like, I can hear you breathing. I hate you so much it gives me energy. There's not enough time in the day to hate you enough. I have to get up early in the morning just so I can hopefully hate you enough. But
sounds about
babies.
right.
Yeah, I can hear Laura sort of silently laughing.
Nothing. It's been a long day, innit?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it's been a sleepy day.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you for joining me on this special episode.
Are you going to not edit this one as well?
Yeah,
you're going to glue bits together, aren't you? And just,
I'm gonna.
No, I've edited it.
We're having a speedwagon.
Yeah. We'll glue this onto the next O-T-H, I think.
Yeah, I'll slap it on front because it's gonna be small. But yeah, I guess then. Thank you everyone for listening to the baby announcement, which is probably going to be on Twitter already by this point because we're planning on doing it this week as of recording time. So people are probably going to know by now. But I wanted to make sure that we told you, like in podcast, because I thought that would be fun.
Well, we can do a sort of triple thing on the next O-T-H where this can start it, then we'll do our kind of geeky cool stuff, and then we'll do Song Wars separately afterwards. So we'll
go back to not talking about Sekiro. Yay!
We'll have a tripper.
Sorry, everyone. Cool. Well, let's segue into the next section. Laura, say bye.
Bye, everybody. Goodbye, coffee.
Good baby. That sounded a bit more Australian than I thought it was going to be. Good baby. Congratulations. Humanities 76, I believe it is, which I've named Sandwich.
Oh.
As you'll kind of figure out in a bit. At the start of this, before the music, we had Paddy's News, which I think was announced a little while ago, but it's been a while.
Yeah, we did that with every intention of doing a podcast like a day later, didn't we?
We did. We've had sort of plans for stuff for a little while, but it's not quite come to fruition. Much
like Jurassic Park, life has found a way to spoil our recording schedule.
Oh, I thought you mean like life has found a way for us to actually do an episode. I was thinking like, wow, I am the dinosaur, and then you ruined it.
I mean, you're the dinosaur of my heart.
That doesn't work. So my news and the reason that we've not been able to podcast is I had a bit of a scare. I started getting huge headaches and couldn't sleep at all. I felt like I got barbed wire in my heart. My breathing started stuttering and became increasingly laboured. Everything wound tighter and tighter. And a few days later I was in an ambulance at 4 a.m. and in hospital. And why I sound like a vacuum cleaner that has some sort of small rodent trapped in it. While I'm here, a massive shout out to our National Health Service. Even at 4 a.m, they were warm, funny, friendly, caring, proactive, utterly astonishing. I'm humbled by how incredible everyone I came into contact was, from ambulance staff to doctors through nurses, everyone. It's over here we have the advantage, I guess, of taking them for granted a little bit, but when you do really need them, they're universally incredible. So yeah,
go on the NHS.
Yeah, as you're going to find out with baby stuff.
Yeah, well, we've had our first scan so far, and again, like we were not in as dire straits as you were at the time, I am sure. But it was just nice. Everyone was lovely, really helpful, friendly, welcoming. Like, hey, this is scary, but we're going to make it chill for you.
I'm sure there was a comedian that was on American TV, and he was talking about the differences between America and England, and he was like, in America, they're like, well, you got a problem with your knee? Have you got your credit card handy? You got any insurance? And he's like, and over in England, it's just like, which knee is it? Doesn't matter, we'll test them both. It's fine. And it's free. But, a few weeks beyond all that, I'm sleeping well, my heart's fine. Chest, lungs, etc. Probably another 2 or 3 weeks away. But making a bit of progress every day, so thankful for that. And keeping my North Star on the horizon.
I think you sound more human than I think you give yourself credit for. I can hear you coughing a bit, but you do sound like you've got, a little bit of the fire back in you.
If I do cough, I am going to turn away from the mic because I don't have one of those Yetis where I can just press a button.
No, same.
Yeah, not like, Yeti, press the button. Oh, you use me too much. This is not fair. I'm going back to the snowy lands. I have lozenges and not just ginger tea, but 3 ginger tea.
Oh, the healing power of me.
It's as if I'm being haunted and I am healing. In return, I don't think it hasn't crossed my mind that because Laura is having a that this hasn't siphoned off a part of my energy to ensure your child is glorious. They grow up so fast. And
she's drinking a lot of ginger as well, so it's I am literally saving everybody right now.
No, because part of my life force has gone into ensuring that your child is glorious. Before you know it, I will have my revenge, and they'll be asking all the big questions like, can I have an Xbox? How come we don't have an espresso maker? And why aren't you as cool as Uncle Coffee?
He will never meet you. It's too dangerous for me.
Yeah, your child gets up one day in a daze and you're just like, what is it? You're like, I had a dream, I believe in espresso. Phil Spencer for everyone.
Daddy, where's Guatemala Antigua? Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Excuse me, folks. Anyway, the sandwich episode, we're going to do things a little bit wonkily this time. I have 2 little bits to talk about, so I am the bread. Pad has 2 bits that tie into one another, so he is the filling.
The filling. And I will say, now, you're not going to believe me, but I will tell you this anyway. So when we originally were due to record this a few weeks ago, I wrote quite a lot of notes. I have now subsequently lost those notes.
I
spent 15 minutes going through every book that I've written in the last kind of 2 months, and I cannot find them. So I will be a little fast and loose, but I think I know what I'm doing. So
now you see the stuff that I had prepped for the episode that we were going to attempt to do a little while ago. I've got 2 different things, so I've put the work in anyway.
Well, yeah, but I thought I had notes, and like, again, it's 1:45, or whichever time we recorded this, even. I'm like, cool, they're in this book, right? No, they're in this book, right? Shit, they're in that book, right? Oh no. And I'm guaranteed, as soon as I close it, I'll go out in the book and I'll open the book and I'll find them immediately, because I write them on paper with a pen. I don't type anything up. So
my bit is first.
Please lead on with thing first.
And then Paddy's stuff is in the middle. Then my bit is at the bottom. So sandwich, maybe your baby news, and my sickness gubbins are both cocktail sticks that hold the sandwich together because the bread is so good and the filling is so delicious.
Maybe some garnish, a little olive on top.
No, don't ruin it.
What?
It's like posh places have. Sandwich. So, excuse me, people, my ginger tea isn't cool enough yet, and my lozenge isn't preparing me for this amount of waffle.
Waffle at your own pace, sir.
My first bit of wholesome geekery bakery square.
Sorry. Carry on.
A delicious wordplay of the gentleman. I read an article recently which amounted to, everyone is talking about how much money Avengers Endgame is making, But what about the Chinese science fiction film which grossed over $700 million at the box office and has snuck onto Netflix almost unannounced?
I know what this is, but carry on.
It's a film called The Wandering Earth. So, first watch was a quirky one. Initially, it didn't make the greatest first impression. The CG felt, at best, illustrated, I guess. But the concept was great, so I persisted. So that, mostly from Wikipedia, this is, and it's a bit cold, like Wikipedia always is. In the future, the sun has aged and is about to turn into a red giant, pushing the nations of the world to consolidate into the United Earth Government, a world government to initiate a project to move the Earth out of the solar system to the Alpha Centauri system in order to preserve further human civilization. Enormous thrusters running on fusion power are built across the planet to propel the Earth. Human population is reduced severely due to catastrophic tides that occur after the planetary engines stop the Earth's rotation, and later as the planet moves away from the sun, much of the surface is frozen due to lowered temperatures, forcing humans to live in vast underground cities built adjacent to the engines. A lottery is drawn to determine who gets to live in these underground cities, and even if a family is chosen, only one guardian is allowed to go, meaning one of your parents has to choose to die. So, like I say, film started and early impressions weren't great, but this was balanced out by stuff that I really, really nerded out about. The sets are huge, like detailed, vast, just terrific. When we get into vehicles, they are Jerry Anderson as hell, and inside they're full of flicky switches and chunky buttons. They're massive and feel not only fit for purpose but used. When we see military suits, they're chunky, they look fantastic, they have loads of pipes and wires. One of them that we see has got like a really interesting little quirk that made me and my mate go like and were designed by Pacific Rim's Weta Workshop.
Oh, interesting.
So while I'm, just as a little aside, while I'm on a design tip, 3,000 pieces of concept art were made for the film. 3,000. So as the film moves on, it gathers momentum. Twists occur, twists upon twists, and everything gathers more and more equilibrium. The direction throughout is utterly outstanding, and the CG starts to zigzag from that painterly look of early on to seriously gobsmacking in the space sequences, and when the film moves into nighttime. The final third of The Wandering Earth is jaw-dropping. The sets get bigger and more destructive, and not CG destructive, but we are dropping a world of concrete and actually blowing stuff up destructive. The amount of people involved increases exponentially, tons and tons of extras, and it's amazing. The film becomes punch the air, tears in the eyes, lump in the throat. Come on! Brilliant. Those zigzags, like I mentioned earlier, but that momentum, and I came away with so much affection for it, I wanted to watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
Second viewing was with my friend Noble Peter, who I watched like my Japanese superhero stuff with. This watch, I just fell for it as a whole. Hook, line and sinker. I noticed more character moments, little nuances in the storytelling and direction, and even now I'm hankering to watch it again. It might not be for everyone, but it was my first Chinese film, and indeed China's first big budget film. I read afterwards that production hit budget issues at one point, and its biggest actor voided his entire payment to make sure the film was finished.
Shit.
The director mentioned that China gets a great deal of big Western movies, but that same trust for Chinese films going in the opposite direction isn't there yet. As far as I'm concerned, The Wandering Earth is a fabulous start, and I'm hoping its arrival on Netflix might push that momentum further still.
We literally saw the trailer last night. We finished watching... Oh, fuck, what did we watch? Snowpiercer. And it's like, what's this?
Snowpiercer's incredible.
Yeah, we liked it. Again, took a bit... For us, like you say, same thing. Took a little bit of time to get going. But once we were in, we were, like, in.
Snowpiercer's the best Bioshock movie we're ever going to get.
Really liked it. Really liked it.
But yeah, this it's got honour, it's got World of Heart, and I'm absolutely going to watch it again. But
did you watch it with? Was there a dub? Was it a dub or a sub? Because the trailer on Netflix was dubbed, and it wasn't super from what we heard.
I watched the sub.
Yeah, the dub was very sort of 90s American anime dub.
I wouldn't watch a dub of a live action film.
Yeah, it didn't sound great. We would immediately switch it over. Although it did give us the wonderful line of a man shooting a gun at Jupiter, shouting "Fuck you, Jupiter."
That's up
for that.
I loved it. I mean, it seems a lot of folks either think something is crap or it's amazing, and there's very little sort of wiggle room in people's minds for things that kind of, they have good points and bad points. But,
you've been watching Game of Thrones, clearly, based on Twitter. Ha 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 ha.
You know that that's not the case.
Worst show ever, apparently now. Who knows?
But yeah, I mean, I like I say, it's an interesting one because when I was first watching it, it was kind of with a raised eyebrow, and then there was stuff that I loved within the stuff I wasn't that sure about. But as it went along, it got better and better, and then that final third was gobsmacking. And the second time I watched it, I just loved it even more. Like as a whole, I absolutely adored it, and it's all right for things to be a little bit flawed within being kind of really cool. And yeah, it's proper great. But the vehicles, man, I was saying to Pete, like if ever they did like a proper Thunderbirds movie, they need to get everybody here involved, because like there was a point with like a convoy of 3 of these vehicles, and I was like, I need a Dinky Toy 3-pack of that. It was Dinky that used to make like the Space 1999 and the Thunderbirds like toys with like the Thunderbird 4 that came out. But yeah, inside it's just, you see like this one particular vehicle and they get inside and just the thing's huge, but like, it seemed like the lad knew how to operate it, and there was a way of operating it. And I love flicky switches and chunky buttons, but like instead of a steering wheel, there was like a massive ball in the centre, and you put your hands on either side of it, and like you tilt it forward to kind of accelerate, and then you sort of move it from side to side to like turn it and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, this is really good. And there's a screen just above the windscreen with your tracking on and stuff. And later on there are like proper original Battlestar Galactica Viper type joysticks in there, and it's one of those where I would love to go into the set of that and just sit down and just go, Jesus Christ, because it's built and it seems scratched and used, and there's a way of working things, and I liked that a great amount.
Yeah, from what I saw of the trailer, like particularly the vehicle design, I did see some 2000 AD DNA in there.
Oh, there's some definite.
Sorry, 2000 AD DNA.
Yeah, I see what you did.
There you go.
There's something definite of that old 2000 AD Star-Lord, maybe more so, sort of DNA, because it's that dark, slow science fiction that British comics used to do really well, and the way that they, I don't know, the characters are flawed, but they have their moments. The people that you meet in there, again, you might judge them as being one way, but they all have their moments of not only redemption, but a kind of, they have parts in the solution to the film as well. And there's just this warmth and honour and gloriousness about it. I loved it to bits, and for something that I had no expectations of, I came away just, like I say, it's rare that you see a film and you go, I want to watch that again. And even when you watch it again, you go, I really want to watch that again. And you could even put it on and be doing something else, and you'd still kind of be turning back and kind of you'd think that, I'll put this on while I'm like cleaning. I've seen it a billion times now, and you find yourself like sitting down, you park on the couch, and then you've just watched all of it again. But it's great. It's really good.
I think the last film that got me like that was probably, ages ago, probably Equilibrium. I remember watching that and going, again, I just started it again, watch it again, and I did
that with Equilibrium back in the day. I did it recently with Into the Spider-Verse as well.
Oh, it's a film.
It is a film.
Oh, isn't that a film?
Yep.
Oh.
Excuse me.
But yeah, it sounds, I mean, from what I saw of the trailer, that sounds like, and what you've just told me, yeah, we're probably watching that tonight, because, like, the trailer impressed. I'm like, well, that looks... Because did you say something about this before? Like, I'm sure you'd mentioned something about a Chinese film that had done really well. That hadn't come out. I was like, is this it? Could this be that film?
I mean, I don't know if I said anything about it. I mean, the place that I normally watch these things, you know, there's got Taiwanese films, and Chinese films, and Hong Kong, Japan, and stuff. But I rarely watch beyond Korean, Japanese, and Hong Kong. Really,
you're the person who would have told me, if anyone I know. Is the thing. I don't think of anyone else who might have told me about that. And if you did, I'm sorry.
Well, it seems that Netflix have now sort of pushed it front and centre after this little bit of promotion. And
stuff. Dang on! It's front page. It's at the front in the middle.
So it took in, I think, $693 million in the Chinese box office alone. It got sort of a limited world release, which pushed it over 700 million. And I'd imagine Netflix will probably give them a decent amount of money back from its, you know, its world airplay and stuff.
For sure. Ooh.
Yeah, curious to know what you think, because I hadn't really considered the Star-Lord, 2080 dark sci-fi stuff.
I'm a sucker for that stuff as well. You know me.
Well, it's interesting that there's the dark setting, but there's a lot of the characters, the way they evolve, they do sort of quite heroic things amongst that, and they sort of step to the fore, and that's something that I really, really love. You know, when all hell's breaking loose, that somebody does something magnificent. There's also a little bit of kind of maybe 2001 in there as well. Lots of, like, the world government that's set up. You actually look on board, like, the space station, and there genuinely are people of all creeds, colours, all that sort of stuff. There's a Russian guy who's really funny in it. There's a half Chinese, half Australian boy called Tim, who's kind of I'd say the comedy in it early on, but even Tim sort of rises to the challenge and does some amazing stuff. But it's an interesting one. But go in sort of with that raised eyebrow, taking what I've said. But yeah, I think you won't mind, like, the zigzags, and I think you might find yourself in the same place I was, and going, like, fancy a bit more of that.
Yeah, it looks like a laugh. It looks like my kind of film. So. Oh, that's really good. I can't believe that's the day after we've watched the trailer. That's really cool, because I have a frame of reference.
It's super complicated in the way that it will often, like the normal beats of a Western film, it will go to a point where you think, they're going to resolve that, and there'll be about 2 or 3 twists within that moment where you go, oh crap, everything's fallen apart. What are they going to do? Oh no, things have gotten worse. Oh right, they've done that. And it seems that they wonderfully complicate things along the way, but a 2-hour film. So it does it with really no meat on the bones. Think you'll like the Grandad as well. Grandad's great. It's really cool.
Is it really bad that the best thing a film can do these days is go 2 hours-ish runtime? You know, hour and a half. Like, yeah, go on then. I'm up for that. Like. Well, I've got so many films sitting in my box right now. We've got things like Interstellar, The Wolf of Wall Street, and some other stuff as well. And they're like 3 hours, and it's like 9 o'clock, and I can't be bothered at that point.
Well, there was a thing that Mark Kermode said about like Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, where whatever happened to the intermission. So I don't know if it's it's an American thing as well, but in old sort of UK cinemas, there'd be a point where, and a lot of filmmakers used to account for this and have cliffhangers where, say, halfway through a 3-hour movie, the curtains would close. You could nip to the loo. You could buy an ice cream. The attendants would walk out into the aisles with like a little light on their trolley, and you could on their tray, and you could buy stuff. And then after like 10-15 minutes, you could sit down again, and the rest of the movie would start, because it's a lot, particularly to ask a little kid to sit through a 3.5-hour film.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, these days we have the website runpee.com, which tells you the optimum time to go for a piss.
But yeah, I really liked it. It's like
good.
super admirable of it.
Yeah, and it's from initial impressions from the trailer, what you've just described is more of that. And like, yeah, we were up for it from the trailer alone, so that's...
I think this might play into your strengths, and you sound probably more curious about it than I've heard you for a while. So yeah, if you've got that little 2-hour pocket, I think enjoy it. But watch it with subs. Don't watch the dub.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, the dub was not great, and the voices were different to the subtitles on screen as well, which is always a little bit jarring.
Also, it's lovely because I was saying to Pete on Saturday, like, I can't believe how big these sets are. Where did they build these? Because again, like, it doesn't feel like a set. It feels like an actual city, and it seems vibrant, and there's stuff going on, and you notice stuff out the corner of your eye on the second watch, and you go, this just seems to be going on, whether the camera's pointing at it or not. People are interacting with places to eat, and it's cool. I think oh god, if we're going down the 2000 AD route, you might find a kind of mega city feel to the cities underneath the ground. Don't. Yeah, I definitely think you'll have a good time here.
I love mega cities. Oh, speaking of, I tried. Turns out with the VR headset, 3D movies on Blu-ray do work in the VR headset.
Oh, cool.
So I tried Dread the other day, which is like the only one I've got, and it was all right. It wasn't brilliant, but it was okay.
So yeah, that's. Did you like my first slice?
That was a nice a slice of carbs. A slice of delicious film carbs.
I'm buttering you up, lol.
Apply
your deliciousness. What's
okay?
Well,
yeah, it's like a ham and cheese in the middle. There's two things that are, they go together well.
Ham and cheese.
I like ham and cheese
and
sandwich.
bacon.
No, I love a ham and cheese sandwich. Something simple and just nice about it. Just a nice basic ham and cheese.
Ham's problem is it's not bacon.
True, but sometimes you don't want to cook. We're getting off track.
Yeah.
My things are related. My two things, and again, my notes are a little bit not in my hand anymore. So apologies if this goes a bit slapdash, but I'll try and keep some order to it. What was the thing called? This
just started well.
No, right? No, I need my notes. The Nintendo VR thing. What was that called?
What, the new one?
No, the old one.
The something boy, was it? I don't know.
Was
Virtual
it?
Boy. Virtual Boy?
No. Virtual Boy. Incorrect. I am Virtual Man. Putting the helmet on, logging into the world. Virtual human boy, virtual human man. Touch thing that is not real, see thing that is not there, hear thing that is so fake. Head hurt, I need a break. Virtual computer, virtual roboto, virtual foliage, virtual game system, virtual enemies, virtual compadres, virtual collection, virtual jump master, virtual confusion, virtual brain teaser, virtual professor, virtual test taker, virtual eye swimming, virtual head aching, virtual I'm going to be sick. Oh.
Well played.
It's me, Virtual Man, in my new segment, Virtual Man. Do you know how long I've been waiting to fucking play that song down this microphone?
It might have been a while.
I hadn't listened to it in a while, and it was making me giggle when I remembered all the things I did. Hello, welcome to Virtual Man, where I played some virtual reality games. Yay!
Cool.
So I played 2 games. This is the fact that I had a headset on. That's the only link, really. Okay. I've talked a little bit about some of them before, but I've had a better chance to enjoy them now. So I can go a bit more into detail. And the first game I want to talk about, I picked it up, I think, just after Christmas, I think. is, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but the first game I want to talk about, which I absolutely love, is Astro Bot Rescue Mission.
I've heard really good things about this, like really, really good things. Like it was Game of the Year material last year. Genuinely
expected not a lot. I know, like, I tried the demo, and the demo was, like, really, really good. Like, oh, this is kind of fun. But, like, when you see, like, first-party mascot platformer games, these days, that's not usually a great thing.
Now, you see, I think this has been maybe given a wobble by the fact that you, PlayStation boy, haven't really liked PlayStation exclusives this gen, bizarrely enough.
No, didn't like Horizon. I'm not a fan of Days Gone either. I've been drifting on a lot of them. They're just not for me anymore, I don't think, which is weird.
Here's one that's gone a little bit under the radar. But I just hear astonishing things about it.
It's great. So you, to give you an idea how the game actually plays, you put on your headset and you control a little Asobi robot from all the VR Playroom and all the kind of PlayStation first party stuff. Whenever they do a tech demo, these robots are in it. And you have one of those, and you can see your controller in front of you, and if you press buttons, you can see the buttons pressing, and you kind of flick him out of the controller to run him around. And basically, you're running around just like, nice looking, really well designed platforming areas, trying to find and rescue your Astrobots. So it's Astrobot Rescue Mission. You're rescuing other bots that have fallen out of the big spaceship. And it's just, when like everything comes together in a game, and like you're in it and you are in it.
You realise that like everything's kind of aligned. There's not that zigzagging like I was mentioning. You were like, oh. Yeah,
you're not sitting there frustrated at a certain aspect, which is spoiling it. Not a single part of this game has spoiled anything. Like everything comes together. Like it looks nice. The VR is brilliant. You really feel like you're in like these kind of platforming areas. The movement, when you run your little Asobi bot forwards and you follow with the camera, it doesn't make you want to barf, which is brilliant because some of these games you move and you just like just immediately it throws you and your head gets weird because you're sort of fixed and moving on a straight line at a decent pace. It doesn't hurt your brain. You are not just looking forward. You're going to be looking all around, above you, behind you, underneath you, like. You're not sitting still when you're playing it because you're trying to rescue your friends and your other robots. You're constantly looking about and looking up and looking down. And like even at the start of the level, first thing I do all the time is immediately turn around in my chair and look behind me in case there's anything there. And a few times, there is something there. There's a real good puzzly aspect to it where you see a robot you need to save. You're like, well, how the fuck do I get up there? And you look around, well, that looks like you can smash that, but how do I get... Oh, well, there's a little thing. I could jump off that. And, oh, there's a little bouncy pad on the floor over there. So you're you're spinning your head around and, like, following your robot. There's points where you're sort of jumping on leaves in, like, a sort of treetops level. And the leaves go around and behind you, and you have to kind of sit there spinning your head, watching what you're doing with enemies coming, deal with those, and then sort of, like an owl, spin your head around the other way so you can then carry on walking the other side of yourself. Okay. Your camera is a part of the game. You are another big robot kind of hovering along behind. Every now and again you'll find like mirrors and cameras and you'll see yourself, which is like this just big, basically a headset robot. And when you jiggle your head, it jiggles in the screen as well and you can kind of wave at yourself with your own brain. The actual robot himself is the cutest little guy. There's personality in like every pixel. If you look at it and you wave the controller, he will wave back at you. Oh, it's cute.
You see, I get the feeling that, there have been like statues and toys made of Aloy from Horizon and Deacon from Days Gone or whatever. This sounds like the sort of thing where if you saw a plush of your bot, you'd be like, yes, put it on my couch next to my PlayStation cushions, put it on the bed. In fact, we'll buy two of them.
He's adorable. Genuinely adorable. And like even like the enemies are, cute. They're little robot things that sort of waddle around towards you with a little sort of like, I'm going to go over here. I'm doing business. There's some that sort of jump up and form a giant hammer which falls over on top of you, and once they've smashed apart, you can run around and beat the individual bits up. Like every single enemy has a different way of attacking it and dealing with it. It's not just walk up and hit square all the time. You'll kind of... Sometimes you're dodging them, sometimes you're moving around them, sometimes you've got to wait for them to stop being electric before you can beat them up. It's not, like, brain-teasing stuff, but it's just nice in the same way.
Enjoyment.
Here's the thing. The feeling I get when I play this is like the feeling I get when I played, like, Spyro or Crash or, like, the first Ratchet and Clank games. Like, it's just a nice, well-realised, well-put-together unit where everything works, and I want to keep playing all the time. Like, and I'm trying to 100% it. I'm trying to take my time and get everything. And most times you can kind of burn through a level and pick up most of the dudes without too much work. And other times you get to the end and you found 5, and you're like, well, there should be 3 more. What the fuck did I miss? Like, I looked at everything. I'm sure I did. But you do get a little hint because it kind of has gaps at the end, so you can see which ones you missed. Sort of like, if you ever played Lego Star Wars, it's got that same sort of feel. And that is another good touchstone. It's good as Lego Star Wars, and I do not say that lightly.
It sounds like one of those that, you know, even when you have sort of completed it and you got everything, that warmth and affection that people have for the likes of a Spyro, a lot of that comes from just wanting to play it again and again and again, because it's that sheer enjoyment, and it sounds like the same would you know, is applicable here.
Yeah, when I finish, I'm telling Laura she's playing it next because she will go nuts for this game.
Cool.
I know she will go nuts for this game. I'm playing going, Laura wants to play. Like, this is just her all over.
Then you need to get one of those Astrobot plushies, and when little Babby arrives, that can be baby snuggle.
No, don't. Oh no, now I'm getting
because
feelings.
That'd be super cool because you really warm to the game. Then if Laura does similarly, that's on your mind as baby is growing, and then
thing. It's the new sack. It's a new sack boy.
Yeah, and then you get, you know, little one wanting to bring Astrobot, you know, to the park, and
don't.
You see, that's sweet.
No.
I think you should do that because this is foreshadowing. This is storytelling.
It's genuinely good as well, because like it does feel like a kid's playground at points. Like, there's so much going on. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. The boss fights. So far I've done 3. Each one of them has been brilliant and fun and a new idea of the new thing. Like, the first one you do is a big monkey, like a giant King Kong. And you go up like a giant skyscraper on a lift to fight him, and he's got this big old mouth, and like you have to avoid him punching a bit, and then he'll kind of chomp down on the top of the thing. You have to avoid that, and then basically you pull his teeth out one by one. One of the things you get in the controller, every now and again you'll find a box, and you kind of hold your controller forwards, lock it into the box, and then a tool will appear on it. So this one was the grappling hook. So you kind of flick the hook out of his teeth and yank them off. Other ones where you flick the hook out and you can then jump the Astrobot onto the wire that you have made from your controller, run him along the wire, and you can move the controller about and move where you want him to go, and you can kind of flip the controller up and make him jump, run him up to the top and punch a giant octopus in the eyeball. It's joyous in a way that I wasn't expecting. I'm about 60% through at the moment. I've got about, I think, 2 worlds left to go. And it's just fun. Like, it's just really well designed. It's fun to play. It's that rare VR game that does not make you want to throw up all over the place when you move, which some of them are not good. I've tried a lot of demos recently, and some of them are very, very not great. But yeah, it's just fun on the bun. And if you have a VR headset, it doesn't matter how old you are, just get it, because it's gonna be a good time. A really, really good time. And this is the thing as well. It's another game, I think, that I will use when people come round to say, right, play this.
Yeah, that's what you can show off. I think it was called when it came out and over Christmas, and as people were talking about it and trying to get people interested, folks like Shu and Sean Layden and stuff were kind of responding to tweets, going like, "Thanks for picking it up." And I love that kind of interaction between gaming companies and people, because I think it shows not only pride in what they've done, but I think it shows more of a connection between user and company. So it's not just corporation and
sure,
purchaser. I just think that's really warm and wonderful.
And they say the fact that it's can compete in, like, you know, this top level of like platforming games. You know, in these days when you've got your Mario Odysseys flying around and stuff, you know, like, this game is brilliant. Even in this world where there are other ones like that, and you would not expect a first-party platformer game featuring the first-party mascots that people don't really care about, let's be fair, to be this good. Like, It was like the expectations I had for it at first were like, you know, when PlayStation All Stars, the Smash Brothers thing came out. Mm-hmm. I was like, it's probably going to be medium, and then it was medium. Like the same level of expectation I think I had for it, and then but when you've got it in your hand, you're like, oh, this is wonderful. Oh, this plays good, and like you're constantly having new ideas. There's even one of those levels where you jump on and you grind a rail like at the screen, and you're kind of hopping from rail to rail, like avoiding stuff, like the Ratchet and Clank levels do. And that, as a big Ratchet and Clank fan, that touched me in a very, very nostalgia place. Oh
yeah, because that's again we're sort of going back to icons that were staples of like PS1. Maybe even PS2 era PlayStation, but that sort of icon has sort of been replaced by the third-person action star in this generation, and it sounds like this is, whether you like it or not, is or whether you realise it or not, is hankering back to something which is really special to you on systems that are really special to you.
And I hope it sold well enough for a sequel, because I would play more of this every day. Every day, it's so good.
It sounds like this sort of, I mean, even from what I know of the visual look of it, that as further consoles arrive, and better headsets arrive and all that sort of stuff, it looks like the sort of game that when it's up-resed or sped up or whatever might happen with the future of backwards compatibility, that it will still look good.
Oh, it will sing. It looks great anyway, but
there's certain designs like your Wind Wakers and stuff like that, where you can go, whatever happens in the future, this is still going to look stylish.
Completely agree. So, yeah,
outstanding.
Astrobot Rescue Mission on PlayStation VR. Holy crap! What a game.
So whilst I haven't previously thought VR was for me, if I ever do come down and see you, this is what I want to play.
This is what I'll jam your face in and sit you down and go, enjoy this.
You see, that sounds a lot more violent than the accepting and wanting way that I was approaching it.
No. You will submit to life in Astrobot Land now.
This doesn't bode well for fatherhood.
Play this. Enjoy it. Be me.
Cool.
So that's thing one. That was the cheese. Ooh, lovely cheese. Ooh, smoked cheddar. Very tasty. Now, get your teeth into this next piece of ham.
Okay.
Or bacon. Whichever you prefer. I will leave it to dealer's choice.
Or, for our vegetarian listeners, bacon.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Oh, it probably is, isn't it?
It always seems strange when you get, like, corn chicken pieces. And it is the equivalent of... humanity landing on a planet where they eat humans, and then an agreement is reached, and you're like, oh no, we're not going to eat humans anymore. We have Newman. It's not made of human, but it tastes just like humans. Are you still hankering for a bit of human? Well, it's not really an issue now. We've got something that tastes like you, but isn't you? But you're still hankering after that. It reminds me a little bit of that. Anyway, please move on, sir.
My second thing is another VR game in the Virtual Man section of the podcast. The other one is a puzzle game. Again, I picked this up around Christmas. I've had my eye on it for a while. And it's the kind of idea you think, that seems cool. Yeah, okay. And it went down to like a $5 in a sale. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go on that.
Okay.
My second thing is a game called Statik.
I don't know this.
It's spelled S-T-A-T-I-K, Statik, with a K on the end.
I'm looking it up as you're talking to me.
Okay, so Statik, for those who don't have Google to hand, is a puzzle game where you are a test subject, sat in a chair, and your hands are inside a puzzle box.
Okay.
Your hands are inside of this machine. And the game opens with the professor guy, whose face is all obscured, telling you, oh, welcome to the test. This is your first one. Try and get out of the test. And what you'll find is you'll look at this box and it'll be covered in switches and dials and little contraptions and things. And you will press buttons and things on the box will happen. So everything you're pressing on your controller is making a different thing on the box happen. So you might hold down R1 and one of the top corners flaps open, you can see something inside. If you then fiddle with the right stick, you might be able to spin that piece around and clock it back in a different way.
This sounds great.
It's it hurt my brain in a good way. You might see there's one particular box that has a tape deck on it, and you have to kind of manipulate the tape out and put it into the side and put a different tape in, and then turn on the power on the tape deck using the sides on the side. And you can spin the controller around in your hand as well, so you're looking at the left side, the right side, up and down on the box as well. Different controls will only work when you can see the thing that you want to change. There might be one where there's like a code you need to input, but you can only see the code sort of on the screen in the lab, so you look over there and go, well, that's blue, and there's a 7 near that, so I think that's going to be blue 7. And then when it clicks green and the box opens, you feel smart. Your hands never actually come out of the box. When you solve it, the screen kind of fades to black, and you're gassed basically and put back in your test house. But yeah, every single puzzle is different. Like, each one has its own ideas and concepts. You're never going to replay the same thing twice. They've literally must have sat down and thought, right, think of about a dozen cool ideas for puzzles, let's make them happen. There's ones where you have to have a projector on the end of the box, and you have to project shapes onto a screen by using shapes you can see in the environment, and kind of going, oh, well, that's going to be a triangle and a circle, so spin that round there and turn that round there, and does that work? Oh, that works, yeah, brilliant. There's one where you control a tiny car, and your box has a screen that flips up, and you see the first-person view of that car. So you can drive around the facility, but when you drive into the room you're in, you can see the car, and the car can see you. It's adorable.
That's cool.
And it hurts you, again, it hurts your brain a little bit, because like, wait, where am I? Hang on, if I drive there, and I'm going to look at the map on the screen there, so I think the car's in room 7, so if I drive around to room 5, there we are. There's only, I believe, even as well, one puzzle that's related to timing. So if you're not the quickest at, dexterousness and, putting things together quickly. Because I know Laura is not a fan of, like, pressure situations where you've got 2 seconds to press the right button. There's only, to my memory, one puzzle that requires that sort of dexterousness. Everything else you can kind of take your time, think it through. And it's not, again, this speedy puzzle is not the hardest one, but you need to be paying attention and focusing and, like, laser focused on what you need to do. Because successes put your little bar up and cock-ups put it down. So if you're making too many cock-ups, you basically unravel all your progress. But yeah, there's a real creepy undercurrent to the whole thing as well. The professor is odd. Talks very vaguely about the things you're doing, and he's always talking about his own stuff at points. There are several points where you are chucked into a side room and shown some things on a screen and asked whether you think they're good or bad. And if you click the left or right stick, it's either a happy or a sad smiley. And sometimes he'll say, nope, try that one again. Like, happy then? Yes, well done. There's like a meta-narrative on the top where you kind of go into like a sort of dream brain pipe underwater place. It's hard to describe. Where you're putting together pieces of a cube, and then after a couple of puzzles you put together, say, an L-shaped piece, and then connect it to the T-shaped piece that you just made, and you'll end up with like a 3x3 cube shape at the end, which then forms its own puzzle. So there's like a puzzle around the extra sides of the puzzle, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's really smart, and like you do feel like your hands are trapped in a box the whole time, because you've got the headset on and you're kind of just looking around. All you can see your hands is stuck in this box. It's almost a little claustrophobic at times as well, like in a good way. And when you beat a puzzle, a receipt prints out the side of the box, and then a tiny robot, like in Iron Man, the robot that had the fire extinguisher on it.
I can't remember specifically.
It's like a factory robot with like a little arm and a little camera on its head, and it leans in, and you have to show it the receipt before you can continue.
That's fun.
It's really fun, and the first time, like, wait, I have to. Oh, that's adorable! And you can mess with it by taking the receipt away before it scanned it properly as well. Like, you can annoy it. It's just a really good game. And again, I picked it up for maybe a $5. I think the price of it's normally about $12.99, which is still, I would say, cheap for this sort of experience.
It sounds like a couple of games that have thrown you curveballs that you fancied, that you had no expectations of, but within innovation and warmth and just sheer enjoyment of not only won you over, but that you'll continue to push them in front of people and to talk about them and to increase that momentum. Yeah,
Statik is another one I have kept on the PS4 for trying people out in VR with, because finding games that like show it off well and quickly sometimes can be tricky. I tried my soon-to-be brother-in-law out on the VR headset. The first thing I told him, try Tetris Effect, it's really good. He wasn't that enamoured by it.
Okay.
He was like, it's just Tetris. Wasn't that fussed about the stuff going on the outside. Wasn't really, he just said it was just Tetris. And sure, that's a fair take. It's wrong, but it's a fair take. We've argued a lot about this in the last few months. But we tried a couple other things. Oh, no, this is what I meant. Like, this is the VR. Like, I let him try the PlayStation VR Worlds thing with the mission. I can't remember what it's called now. The London Heist, where there's geezers and diamonds and shootouts stuff, and that's really, really cool. They're making a full game of that, I think, called Blood and Truth. The same team are making this new fully featured full game with the same sort of setup. I'm very excited by that because that was the best thing on that VR Worlds thing. I think
I've seen that. It's got an English fellow that was in the Resident Evil film, the first one that was in it. Yeah.
Is it?
If it's the one I'm thinking of.
I looked it up. We've just watched those films back, so that might actually ring a bell. Hey, spoiler, the Resident Evil films are not great, but they're at least popcorn fodder. Don't ask me why we decided to watch them again. When you get an idea, you think, yeah, we'll do that, I can't be bothered. And by the end, you're like, why did we do this?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it looks great, and I'm up for this as well. Like, this looks like a proper, it looks like a Paddy game. Like, I want to play that. Because the VR stuff is great. And, the VR stuff they put in, it doesn't look like you're just looking at a flat video. Like, you're in that game. Because some VR can look a bit odd and flat. Some of it doesn't work super good.
Colin Salmon, that's the guy.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know him. What's his face? I can't think of the name, but I know the guy you mean now. That's cool.
He's been in Arrow as well and a few other bits. But, he's a cool guy.
But yeah, no, I've kind of been dipping into a couple other VR games, but maybe we'll save those for later, for another time. And maybe I'll actually write notes and not lose them this time. I'm sure there's things I've forgotten. But yeah, generally, I am very happy. I think the important thing when I bought the VR was to find games that made it worth it. And I've still not played Resi 7. That is still looking at me funny, and I will play it soon. I just need to be a brave boy before I do.
I know what you mean, and when you are going to do it, let me know. I'll pick it up and we'll plow through it together.
We'll be brave boys together.
I'm not as invulnerable as I was when I was younger, and I think that aspects of that seem a little more real than fantastical, like the older Resident Evils are. It kind of
it's up in your face.
Puts a few more wobbles in my heart.
Lovely mutual friend Ellie apparently started playing it on VR. Managed half an hour. And says, nope, playing this 2D, can't deal.
Yeah. Well, I'll be playing it 2D.
Yeah, I will play this VR all the way through if it kills me.
Excuse me.
I will not be in a good shape by the end, but I will definitely do my best. So yeah, that was the end of my fakin sandwich filling.
So we need more bread.
Bit more bread.
I have bread.
Bread me up, man. You've been playing I Am Bread?
No. So my next one is Kingdom. Now this is Netflix's first Korean drama, which came as a recommendation from comedian James Acaster when he appeared on Adam Buxton's podcast a few weeks back.
Okay.
So Wikipedia says, set in Korea's medieval Joseon period, Kingdom tells the story of Crown Prince Yi Chang, who becomes embroiled in a coup/political conspiracy and is forced to embark upon a mission to investigate the spread of a mysterious plague that has beset the current emperor and the country's southern provinces. Which doesn't say a lot. So,
did you say it's a film or a TV show? Sorry,
it's a TV series.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that is a little vague. So I'm going to give brief spoilers for episode 1. So if this already sounds like it might be your sort of thing, and it's like, oh, CJ quite likes that, I'll go in unannounced. Watch episode 1 and come back. Otherwise, episode 1, quirks, hooks and twinkles incoming. Right. So basically the emperor has died, and within those aforementioned political machinations, it's decided that the crown prince should not be allowed to take the throne. The queen is pregnant, and all efforts should be made to make sure the king is kept alive until the queen gives birth. A physician finds a rare resurrection flower, which does indeed bring back the emperor, but leaves him in a savage and brutal state, wherein he's chained down and cordoned off from the rest of the palace. The extent of this state is increased when the physician's assistant attempts to push food into the king's chamber, but is instead dragged in and savaged.
Oh.
The physician, with his assistant in a coffin, returns home, which is a poverty-stricken commune where the poor are constantly on the cusp of starvation, and fed the scraps of whatever vegetables can be found and cooked into a soup. But later this same day, the nurse looks out to see the poor all delighting in their food. They have meat. An ex-soldier goes on to say that in times of war, when there was no food, the poor made do with whatever they could find. He cooked up the body of the physician's assistant, and soon the people, one by one after the other, die. And as night falls, they start to rise. Essentially, it's a period drama with zombies, and it's incredible.
Oh.
So episode 1 drip feeds you the concept and constantly denies you anything, instead building its world, its politics, its mood. And when you realise things are starting to move, you kind of go, no. But it's still denying you stuff. And then when things really start kicking in, I was reminded with a gasp that I'd been holding my breath. And then the pace just goes. It gets really clever, there's loads of twists, cool horror, great amount of heart kicks in. It's very, very good. It's 6 1-hour episodes, and after episode 6, there was desperately diving into Google to see if there was a season 2 and when it was coming. It's been greenlit and filmed before season 1 had begun airing. So thank you, Netflix-based overlords. It's a proper belter, and it's nice to see something like the zombie staple done within this sort of time period, and the fact that they've covered the basis for it with like the resurrection flower and stuff. But there's also sort of an element of kind of vampirism to it as well.
Okay.
With the zombies only coming alive at night, and basically when the sun comes up, you will see them like dive under decking or into like shadows, or they will just hide. So there's a real feeling of when the sun's going down of not knowing where they are, and they will all start to kind of come looking for food again. It's astonishing. It's all filmed like a 50s epic. It is beautiful to look at. I'm
just looking at pictures on Google as you say. This looks great.
It's all practical stuff as well, and it just looks amazing. And even the sections at night when the sun's going down, you will see somebody light a massive fire, so you know where they're coming from and if they can identify them, and that essentially becomes the lighting for the scene.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's very, very good, and the quirks that they introduce with the political aspect are really, really neat. And you see the rise of the Crown Prince and the way that he starts to care about the people in a way that the hierarchy do not. That they're all looking out for their own interests, and yet he's. They don't want this plague to spread or to get to them, whereas he's looking to try and keep the people alive from whatever's there. It's fantastic. It's genuinely brilliant.
Shit. That was great.
Yeah.
Is season 1 all up then, is it?
Yeah, all 6 episodes of season 1 are up, and they've already filmed season 2. But it's good. If you like your Capcom stuff, if you like your old sort of Resident Evils, what was the Capcom one that was set in sort of ancient Japan, which has been
Onimusha
recently? Onimusha, yeah. If you like that kind of aspect, there's some great sword play in there and stuff. But even in the moments where it's daytime, there's enough for you to dwell in with the character interactions and the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. But as the sun starts to fall, you realise there are different problems, and often a group of people are trying to prepare for what is probably going to try and find them when darkness hits. It's really good, and the zombies run as well. They run.
That sounds awesome. And like, not to delve into what's everyone's talking about right now. Now Game of Thrones is done. We need something cool and big and fun to watch, and that sounds like it might fit the bill quite nicely.
I mean, I ended up over 3 days watching a couple of episodes a night, I think, or at least sort of one episode a night. But it was one of those where after they'd finished, I was I'm happy to go to sleep now and look forward to the next episode. But it's good and it's solid and it feels real because of the way that they've shot it and the way that they've lit it, and it's a legit period drama with a legit twist on zombies in there.
So how did you come to it? Was it just a recommendation, or did you kind of work off someone said, "Oh, try this"?
Yeah, I was listening to. Adam Buxton's podcast.
Oh, you did say yes. Sorry,
is my favourite podcast, and James Acaster on there just gave us a recommendation as the, Korean period drama with zombies, and I was like, okay, I'll look at that. But it is proper stuff, proper stuff, and yeah, there's some genuine scares in there where, especially when you're kind of clued into something, where you go, oh, I think that's going to happen, and then they show you something, and you go, oh, it's all about to kick off, and you're just kind of waiting for that to kick in. It's great. It feels fast. The world's brilliant, and it reminds me in part in the same way as like Shin Godzilla basically had a political drama with an angel of death in the middle of it. This has got, some genuine weight to the story, even beyond the zombie stuff, but the way that the two kind of mesh and interact, it's unusual and it keeps you guessing. It really does.
That sounds great. And again, the fact you've got that other side to it, it sounds like it's not just a zombie thing. It's got layers.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's cool because I've watched enough just zombie things now. Like, I need more.
They don't know the rules, and obviously they soon figure out that take their head off or burn them is a way forward. But I don't know, that vampiric twist, that when night falls, when you see like some decking in like a village, and basically the entrance to this like commune or whatever has just been boarded up, and you see all these bodies literally underneath the decking, and then later on it shows you that when the sun's going down, literally they run and dive for cover or dive into anywhere that shields them from the sun.
Jeez.
You're like, oh Christ. And even when you could be walking anywhere, and they could be in the water, in the shadows, in reeds, behind trees, they could be anywhere. And those twists really add something fresh to it, I think. I forgot your household is a Resident Evil fan anyway, but I think you might find something here that's your bag as well. So
I'm up for it. Add to the list.
Those are my 2 bits.
Superb, excellent
my
bread.
little piece of bread. Thanks. What a sandwich! It's been nice to get back to this as well because I proper missed it.
I know it's been way too long. Again, our various scheduling issues aside, like it's been far too long. This has been fun. It's E3 soon, isn't it?
It is. So James Carter will be joining us again. So looking forward to that.
The mighty James Carter.
And I may have a bit more of a voice by then.
Hopefully, we're not going to get another 20 minutes out soon because I've got some things to say about some stuff.
Yeah, I've got loads of notes backed up for the things that we were going to talk about before before everything went bleh.
So normal service shall resume soon, sort of, kind of.
Yes, but thank you for bearing with us. Thank you very much for listening as always, and we'll see you soon.
Go buy those or go watch those things we told you about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you have a Spangly headset and a PlayStation 4, those things he told you about.
Yeah, do those things. Cool.
You're back.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.